Hello and welcome back to Faith's Fun Adventures. Today we're exploring the world of agriculture with a new guest, Matt. We plan on going to an agricultural expo, but we got the date wrong. It's next week and this video is due this week, so we improvised. We ended up at Upriver Adventures along the Peace River in Arcadia. And at first I didn't think I would be able to use this place as part of my project, but then we drove onto the property and saw a small farm area. The little farm area had a llama, rooster, hen, a steer, a bull, and some goats. Matt decided it would be fun to feed the animals with some of the vegetation from our side of the fence, as seen here. And we ended up with the goat getting his head stuck in the fence, seen here. At this facility, you can do many excursions. We did the airboat tour first with Captain Butch. We saw a bunch of baby gators and a couple painter turtles, as Captain Butch told us. Then after that, we got right on a lifted buggy with this guy Darren, who took us through the animal portion of the property. There was only 7 of us on this tour, including Matt and I, so we got to experience some pretty cool things that Darren says he doesn't normally do. We stopped to see their steers, which are neutered males. I believe Darren said these guys were African taurines. I know he said that their horns never stop growing, but all cattle horns do that. Darren fed them while we watched. He called them over by yelling to them, and they listened like a human would. He told them to move and come here, and they did. Then we saw one of their llamas. This one is John Wayne. Darren called for him by name, and John Wayne came over to see us. Darren threw some food out and told John Wayne to hurry up before the donkeys came over. And these guys were heeing and hawing the whole time they walked. It was actually pretty cool. They also had some pigs on site. They own a couple potbellies, but it's an open area, so they also get wild pigs that come up to the feeders. These wild pigs are all female, all the little ones too, and within the next 9 months, all those piglets are going to be reproducing too, Darren said. And since we're in Florida, these guys had gators on the property as well, like pretty close to their livestock. So I'm assuming Dale, their 13.5-foot American gator, eats pretty well once nature takes its course on those farm animals. Now let's talk about what I learned about agriculture. The 2 biggest agricultural facilities are ranches and farms, which seem the same to a city dweller. The main distinction between the 2 is that ranches are primarily meat-based, whereas farms are primarily plant-based. Let's talk about farms first. Farms are where the history of agriculture begins. We have 2 main kinds of farms, industrialized and sustainable. Industrial farms rely on what is called monocultures, when they grow only one type of crop. They use gas-powered machinery and synthetic materials like pesticides and fertilizers to maximize their profit. Sustainable farms use what is called permaculture, which basically means that these farms grow crops as if the crops would be found in their normal ecosystem. Eco-farms and the FGCU food forests are local examples of sustainable farms, as they teach sustainable techniques and mimic the natural ecosystems of their crops. Farmers tend to keep equipment in their barns. They worry about crops growing and commodity prices, and they call the land fields. They produce crops like grains, fruits, and vegetables, and either host farmers markets or sell to local grocery stores or supermarkets. Ranches are large-scale livestock production facilities. They are also known as concentrated animal feeding operations, or CAFOs. Ranches and other CAFOs account for 70% of all agricultural land use, according to the American Medical Association Journal of Ethics. And in sustainable ranches or CAFO systems, animals graze the land to get their nutrients. In industrial ranches or CAFO systems, animals are packed into pens, they're fed corn, wheat, and other grains, and they're given antibiotics. Ranches keep livestock in barns, they worry about winters and market prices, and they call the land pastures. Ranchers use hides to make leather, and sheep and goats are sheared for their wool and mohair, which is just a fancy word for goat fur. This particular place is located in Arcadia, which is one of the known farmlands around Southwest Florida. Arcadia is locally called cattle country due to the numerous amounts of farms and cows or cattle. Arcadia represents the cultural and economical pillars of agriculture because this particular town is home to the All Florida Championship Rodeo. It's the oldest rodeo in the state of Florida and attracts people from all over the state and the country. Arcadia is also home to many animal auctions where you can buy or sell your own livestock. Another local farmland is LaBelle. This town is known for its part in the citrus industry. The orange groves around LaBelle are a perfect example of the monocultures we mentioned before. Many of LaBelle's seasonal workers who harvest the citrus and tomatoes that they also grow there are part of the equity issues faced in Immokalee. These workers have fought for better pay and protection from the pesticides, as talked about in the Coalition of Immokalee Workers. Arcadia and LaBelle are more industrial farming, whereas North Fort Myers and the Echo Farm is a more sustainable and local counterpart. Because, as noted before, Echo uses permaculture techniques which follow the natural growth patterns to help small farms thrive without the use of fossil fuels. And this farm serves as an off-campus classroom to help university students, or anyone really, reduce their food footprint. Man is steadily controlling nature is a topic Rachel Carson covered in her CBS interview with Eric Severeid. She mainly addressed the use of pesticides and other chemicals in farming. She was pushing to bring the chemical use under control to avoid disaster and support permaculture, like Echo, to teach about the more balanced and sustainable farming techniques. Carson's work was crucial to the rise in awareness of environmental and human health impacts of the industrial agricultural system, highlighting the importance of a more sustainable future that can manage balancing economic profit, ecological health, and social equity. Thank you for watching another episode of Faith's Fun Adventures, and we'll be back with one more video in 2 weeks.